October the 8th, 2025, at 6:30. I'd like to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we have a presentation to the Isle of Wight Christian Outreach Program, and also have a resolution to read. Someone please come up and represent them. This is a resolution in support of the Isle of Wight Christian Outreach Program and its 2025 Friends Helping Friends campaign. Whereas the Isle of Wight Christian Outreach Program, COP, has for more than 30 years served as a beacon of compassion and practical support for the county's most physically and economically vulnerable residents, including many within the town of Smithfield. And whereas COP provides essential services such as food, home repairs, furnishings for families in need, diaper and dental care, and emergency assistance for utility bills, rent, and medications. Whereas the organization now services over 600 families each month, reflecting the growing need of the community and the importance of sustained support from local churches, civic organizations, businesses, and individuals. And whereas the month of October has been designated for COP's annual Friends Helping Friends campaign, a community-wide call to action encouraging donations, volunteerism, and advocacy to meet the needs of our neighbors. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Smithfield Town Council does hereby commend the Isle of Wight Christian Outreach Program for its long-standing service and commitment to the well-being of our residents. Be it further resolved that the Smithfield Town Council urges all residents, businesses, and community partners to actively support COP's 2025 Friends Helping Friends campaign through contributions of time, talent, and resources. Be it finally resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to the Isle of Wight Christian Outreach Program as an expression of Town of Smithfield's gratitude and commitment to continued partnership in serving our community. It is adopted this 8th day of October 2025 by the Smithfield Town Council, signed by Michael G. Smith, Mayor of the Town of Smithfield. Rick, thank you so much. We also have a presentation of a check for SRA, and I don't have the check. I was asking about the check. I said, well, where's the check coming from? So anyway, Derek Garner, yeah, would you please come forward? How y'all doing? Good to see you. Good. Thank you for coming out. Thank you. Hey, man. Thank you, sir. Good to see you. Okay. I'll hang on to it for a minute.
It's one of the hottest things I've ever seen.
That's fine. We can,
Yes.
yeah, that's fine.
We'll put it after closed session.
It's fine with me. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion we enter into closed session for the discussion of cost negotiations, more specifically right-of-way acquisition at Red Point Tap House pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A3 of the Code of Virginia, and closed session for the discussion of acquisition/disposition of real property, more specifically the Grange at 10 and Main pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A3 and A5 of the Code of Virginia, and closed session for the discussion with legal counsel regarding legal matters and possible litigation, more specifically former town attorney's contract pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A7 and A8 of the Code of Virginia. I so move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Call for the question, please.
Councilwoman Butler? Yes. Councilwoman Beavermeyer?
Yes.
Councilman Brooks?
Yes.
Councilman Cutler?
Yes.
Councilman Bowman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Aye. know they get fed in Canada, you know.
One more. Thing ready? We're gonna do the cop thing. Yeah, and I'll probably have to go as soon as they start. Just general. Yeah, we're probably gonna. We'll probably take off during the middle of the police report.
Need a motion to come out of closed session and go back into open session?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we re-enter, or we go back into open session, and furthermore, that only those items that were previously enumerated in entering closed session were discussed during closed session.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Call for the question?
Councilwoman Butler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Beepermeyer?
Yes.
Councilman Brooks?
Yes.
Councilman Cutler?
Yes.
Councilman Bowman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion pursuant to discussion with legal counsel, particularly certain factors involving the matter pertaining to our former town attorney, that this council agree to forego any outstanding or any alleged amounts of money that Mr. Riddick would owe the town of Smithfield by virtue of his services as town attorney pursuant to his contract. I do believe that the monies that we paid Mr. Riddick, if you look at the numbers that are involved as far as market value for services that provided, were a fair amount. And after a long and in-depth discussion, looking at all of the factors involved in this matter, we realized that certain mistakes were made. The mistakes were not of actual commission, but as I would say, acts of omission, where the town's at fault for maybe not having caught on to the amounts involved, but at the same time, I don't believe that there was any, and it's been discussed during the course of our work with our legal counsel that we have, that there was anything nefarious done by Mr. Riddick either. So therefore, that's why I make the motion that we forego any of the funds and we move along and we make certain that when we hire the next attorney, that the contract is appropriately negotiated, the amount assessed is appropriately enumerated, and that's my motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a substitute motion.
I need to get this passed first, then you can do the substitute motion.
Yes, you need a second.
Yeah, I need, do I have a second on Mr. Bowman's
second.
motion?
I second.
Do we have a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a substitute.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'd like to make a substitute motion. And I would like to thank Mr. Councilman Bowman for his very good remarks and the great discussion that we had. unfortunately, in closed session. But there is no shortage of discussion happening about this topic. I want to say it's challenging and difficult to, navigating this, but I have to say that my position on this is with the citizens, and when I look at, the two pots, so to speak, where money comes and goes from, defense of the citizen's wallet or purse or piggy bank is most important to me. An audit was completed of the law firm billing that was recently done, and the breach of contract element of the audit found that an overpayment of $99,028 from the period July 2008 through July 2025. I make a motion that the town council direct the town attorney to send a letter to the law firm of Riddick & Pope requesting a repayment of all overpayment in the amount of $99,028.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Do we have a second? Hearing none, we go back to Mr. Bowman's motion. Do we have a second on that? Any further discussion on Mr. Bowman's? Hearing none, call for the question.
Councilman Brooks?
Yes.
Councilman Cutler?
No.
Councilman Bowman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Biebermeyer?
No.
Councilwoman Butler?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Aye. Motion passes. We also had a closed session on the acquisition. Does anyone need to make a motion on that for real property?
Mr. Mayor, after, again, many discussions pertaining to this matter, I'm going to make a motion, and I'm going to explain my motion, if it pleases the council, to enter into an agreement with the owners of the Red Point Tap House property to purchase the right-of-way and easements related to the South Church Street Bike and Trail project for the price of $20,000. And let me just say this, that we have done our due diligence as far as conducting, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Stallings, conducting a survey, an appraisal on this right-of-way. And this right-of-way is going to be there for the future for when the bike path is built. I will also relate that the appraisal is below fair market value of the property, correct?
The purchase.
I'm sorry, the purchase is below the actual fair market value. I think the town is getting a deal on this. And at the same time, it also allows the Red Point Tap House property owners to move along. And also, I think we've been dealing with this matter for well over a year. And taking into consideration advice that I've received or suggestions from others that this is the appropriate way to go, that's in the best interest of the town for these improvements, is the reason that I'm making this motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the question.
Councilman Brooks?
Yes.
Councilman Cutler?
Yes.
Councilman Bowman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Biebermeyer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Butler?
No.
Vice Mayor Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Aye. We also had a closed session for the disposition of real property considering the Grange at 10 in Maine. Does anyone have a motion they want to make on the discussions we had about that?
I don't know that, Mr. Mayor, is there a motion to be made there? I think at this juncture, we had come to the conclusion that we're just going to continue down the path of discussion and nothing just concrete was discussed as far as something that would require a motion. So
I agree.
I think we're good to go there.
Yep. Okay, we'll go to the informational reports, town manager's activity reports.
Yes, sir. I have two items before I get to my activity report. The first is there's been a little truck riding around on your desk somewhere. I guess it's at Mr. Harris now, but just want to let you know a full-size one of those is riding around Raleigh right now. Some of the tourism research we have done shows that Raleigh is one of our large areas we draw from. So we're trying to take full advantage of that. So a full size of that truck is riding around Raleigh right now advertising for the town of Smithfield. So I wanted you guys to be able to see that. Second, just so you know, you were given a copy of a memorandum from Mr. Small, the attorney for 1502 Magruder, giving an update on where they stand right now with that project. We have been in communications with them, and they are moving forward towards demolition of the structure, working through that process. But this was provided to us this evening, so you have a copy of it. And if you have questions, the property owners are here if you have questions later for that.
Is he here now? I'm sorry.
Yeah, is
If
he
you
here?
have questions,
Yeah,
I don't know if y'all have.
I've got a
Okay.
couple of questions.
Okay,
I have not had a chance since this.
can you
came
step
from-
up, please?
This obviously just came in as we
Right.
sat
Yeah,
down
yes, it did.
to the meeting, so if you'll just give me just a couple of seconds. Yes, sir, I'm ready to ask if, whenever y'all are.
Please proceed.
According to the letter from your attorney, Mr. Small, you have agreed to have everything taken care of by November the 6th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. As you know, this has been going on for almost a year or well over a year, and I know that you've got some ambitions, and as far as rebuilding and things like that, and that's your ambition, that's your hope, but what we're dealing with is an order of the town, and that's that the building and everything be demolished and cleaned up and brought back to a normal situation by the 6th of November, correct? You fully understand that, because if you don't do that, do you understand the town is going to take action, as we had indicated that we were going to do prior to the injunction, to demolish the building? You understand that?
Yes, sir, I understand what you're saying.
Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
I have a question. Do you have legal counsel here tonight?
He's
No,
in
sir,
Maine.
he let y'all know he'd be unavailable for this meeting.
Okay.
And we did.
The last thing I see, it says also, we disagree as to her decisions concerning the pool and shed. Do you know what,
We do.
we know what we're disagreeing about that?
There was a zoning determination sent out earlier that basically indicates that the pool and the shed are both non-conforming uses and cannot exist in the Chesapeake Bay Preservation area. So they have a window that they can appeal that determination to the Board of Zoning Appeals. So if they disagree with it, they have an avenue to appeal that
And a
decision.
timeline on that?
Right,
Can
that's a
you?
30-day window to make that appeal, and then.
Okay, and then it goes how many more days after that?
Well, the BZA would then have a hearing and determine whether they agree with Ms. Clary or disagree. And that would be, again, there could be further appeals if the town chose to appeal their decision, but 30 days, the BZA would be able to make a decision one way or the other.
And Mr. Mayor, I would add that because in this letter, Mr. Harris is represented by counsel and his attorneys indicated that they intend to appeal the determination, I would recommend that we withhold any further questioning until we're before the BZA.
Okay,
So
thank
that he
you.
has the benefit of counsel.
I was just trying to get a timeline.
Yes, sir.
Well, if I may, back to the timeline. The house, the structure, and everything else can still be demolished while the other matters are held, either prior to hearing or in abeyance or whatever you want to call it.
Yes,
The
sir.
house is coming down.
Yes, sir. Those are two different determinations, the blighted structure determination is
Right.
in one section of your code,
Yep.
and Ms. Clary's determination was under the zoning ordinance.
Yep.
And so those are in parallel.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because those folks over there in that neighborhood have put up with it a lot longer than you've been sitting in the chair. So it's been a very, very contentious now at this point. It was at first misunderstanding, and contentious, and now it's time for it to move along, and whatever else stuff he's got. And if he can rebuild on the foundation, I don't think there's any concern whatsoever from the outside neighbors, but so I won't get into any more of that. But the bottom line is, the blighted structure, we've gone long and hard, and the long road on that, it needs to be moving along. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Other than that, I just have the normal monthly activity report and committee summary report. So if there's questions on those, I'll be glad to answer them. If not, that's all I have.
Michael, were we going to see some police something when we came back from closed session? Is that
Yes.
happening?
We can circle back to the
Yep,
presentation.
that's where I wanted to go.
I'm glad you brought that up. Sorry, Chris. I know you're-
Actually, the rose is for you.
Deputy Chief, can you help us get through this? Thank you for your patience.
Yes, sir. A couple weeks ago, the Smithfield Police Department was awarded the 2025 National Officer Safety and Wellness Award for officer traffic safety for our policies, programs, and initiatives that we have in officer safety. It's from the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund, and they came down and did a video of us that we have here tonight for you. It's about 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Smithfield, Virginia is an historic seaport town covering 10 square miles with a population of just over 8,500 residents.
The Smithfield Police Department is comprised of 24 officers, 4 civilian full-time staff, and 1 part-time employee. We are a strong-knit community where the police department is truly ingrained within the town of Smithfield.
To keep its officers and the community safe, the Smithfield PD designed a comprehensive traffic safety program.
The goals of our traffic safety program are to reduce preventable crashes, injuries, and deaths because we want our officers to go home to their families at the end of their shift.
The department's program focuses on training, equipment, and a set of policies and procedures developed to create accountability among its officers. First and foremost, all officers must always wear their seatbelts. Department policy requires officers to wear high-visibility vests anytime they are directing traffic, investigating traffic incidents, or disaster scenes. Aiming to create an agency-wide culture of safety, the Smithfield PD provides ongoing in-service sessions, training in the field, and the classroom. All officers train in the tenets of Below 100, a program designed to eliminate preventable line-of-duty deaths through training and awareness. Officers also receive ongoing practical skills development and intense emergency vehicle operation training.
Our EVOC training consists of hands-on practical skill development that helps our officers not just learn to drive a vehicle fast, but also to make sound decisions. When you put it all together, it helps an officer not just respond to emergency calls for service, but would also help them in their performance during vehicle pursuits.
All of the Smithfield PD squad cars are equipped with advanced technologies and safety features.
All of our patrol vehicles are equipped with reflective decals to make them more visible at night. We've also increased the amount of LED lights that we have on our patrol vehicles. We put lights in the running boards of our vehicles so that if the vehicle is parked sideways, it's still visible to the motoring public. We've also put LED lights into the hatchbacks of our SUVs so that if the officer opens up the hatch of his SUV to get some of his equipment, it's not totally obscuring the LED lights from the top bars. There's lights that are still flashing so that people coming up from behind him are going to be able to see that there's an officer either on the side of the road or in the roadway working an incident.
The agency also replaced traditional flares with LED flares to provide better lighting at crash scenes.
They last longer than traditional flares. They work better in adverse weather conditions. They are also less of a fire risk, and they're brighter than the flares, and they're very easily seen by the general public.
To keep officers and the community safe, the agency developed a speed activation policy. Anytime a patrol vehicle exceeds 80 miles per hour, the in-car dash cam is triggered. All speed activations are reviewed by supervisors.
Speed is one of the most dangerous factors in policing, and in order to maintain a professional rapport with our community, we need to be setting the example and keeping officers safe, because keeping officers safe with speed keeps our citizens safe.
If there are unjustified speed activations, supervisors coach the officer on safer driving behaviors and also use the dash cam footage to develop additional training opportunities.
Hands in the air.
Critical incidents and pursuits are also reviewed by supervisors.
Throw your window down.
Pursuits are inherently dangerous, not just for officers, but also for the citizens driving in the community. We allowed officers to begin a pursuit for any traffic-related offense or criminal-related offense.
Come on, people.
But during that pursuit, they are expected to continually evaluate the risk posed to the community as well as themselves and the fleeing suspect. And we also expect officers to make reasonable decisions on when to terminate that pursuit.
All LOA units terminated. 243-10-4.
Since creating their officer traffic safety program, the Smithfield Police Department has seen great success.
Our culture change is our biggest success with this program. We've seen reduced number of significant crashes. Our officers have been wearing their seatbelt instinctively. You go to a crash scene and they're wearing their traffic vests without being told. We haven't seen nearly as many speed activations.
To have the efforts of the Smithfield Police Department recognized nationally is truly an honor. It's truly humbling.
It's a proud moment for our department and our community to win the Destination Zero Award for traffic safety. For an agency our size to be recognized nationally shows that our officers' efforts matter and that we can be a model for other agencies our size to make their department safer.
Very good.
And I would like to, for a moment, Sergeant McGow is the one who put this application together for us and put it in, and so I just want to thank him publicly for doing that. He does a lot of work. National Night Out is his baby, so there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, and we truly appreciate it. This award wouldn't have happened without him seeing this and putting us in for it. So thank you.
Yeah, talking with him yesterday, he said that they start planning for the next National Night Out this coming week. So they do a lot of work on this, and it takes a lot of sponsors. And some of their concerns have been that since they've moved the date to a cooler time, some other places are doing this also. And that's going to mean they got to start competing for these sponsors a little harder than they have in the past. But number one, I really appreciate what they've done. This thing has grown over the years, and it's well organized, and it's a great community event. And thank you so much for y'all efforts and all that.
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate what the mayor said. First of all, congratulations on the award. It's amazing. And yesterday at National Night Out was spot on. You guys, I know it takes a lot of behind the scenes work, emails, phone calls, and the day of, and so appreciate all your extra work. So thank you very much. It was a good event. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you again. At this time, we have public comments, and we have sign up first is Eric Lehman.
Good evening. Good evening. My comments tonight are not directed at the members of the council personally. They're intended to highlight a situation that needs to be recognized by, and I think corrected by, the council over time. Smithfield is a living, growing community, diverse neighborhoods and generations, and needs. Its council must reflect as closely as possible the racial, gender, geographic, generational, and socioeconomic reality of the people it serves. This current council does not meet that standard. If you look at it, the standard in total. Our town is far larger than the historic district yet 5 of 7 council members are neighbors in the district. Other large and small neighborhoods, such as Moonfield, Canterbury, Cypress Creek, and Wellington, currently have no representation on this council. The median age in Smithfield is 47, with a wide range of family sizes and stages. Of the 5 active generations over the age of 18 in our town, only 2 are represented on this council. Smithfield is about 74% white, 20% African American, and 4 to 5% Latino. Yet this council only includes 1 person of color. Women make up nearly half of our town's population, yet only 2 of 7 members are female. The median household income is roughly $110,000, but nearly 7% of our residents live in poverty, and many working families fall well below the median. The council reflects the upper tier of the income rather than the full range of working class and professional families that make up Smithfield. While there's no way to change the current makeup of the council in the short term, there are simple steps that the council could take today and moving forward to increase public involvement, support, and trust. Here are just 3. I think we have to look at diversity of appointments. Actively recruit female, minority, and working class and younger citizens for open seats on our boards and commissions. For example, even the Planning Commission currently bears the same gender and racial imbalances that are on the council. I think we need to conduct really geographical outreach. I think the council and the town need to conduct listening sessions in all of Smithfield's neighborhoods, including both new and established areas. Rather than dismissing any area, and I mean any area, we have to welcome the voices of the new and the old, and the new is an infusion of energy. If people choose to live here in Smithfield and contribute to our tax revenues, they deserve to be heard, and we should do everything we can to hear them. I also think it would be meaningful if the council created a neighborhood liaison program. Smithfield doesn't use electoral districts. Maybe we should consider it. But we can adopt a similar spirit of fairness by designating each council member as a liaison to a local neighborhood beyond where they live. This would ensure that every part of the town has a consistent point of contact with and within the council. It will build trust, improve communications, and remind us all that Smithfield is one community. One community. I want to say again that I don't blame this council. What I blame is the process. A healthy democracy depends on public involvement, yet our citizens are not actively encouraged to participate meaningfully in local government. Too often, meetings, schedules, and decisions feel inaccessible to a working family, and are reserved for times when a lot of people aren't available for them. I also blame the fact that it was so easy in 2024 for a local newspaper and a political action committee to influence the income or the outcome of an election, thereby narrowing the representation in this town. These 2 topics will be addressed by me and others at a later date. Smithfield deserves better. It doesn't deserve blame or division, but a renewed commitment to be really fair and transparent and balanced in how we choose and support those who lead us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lehman. Eric, mine on. Before you leave, hopefully for most of us, thank you for coming forward with a very important issue, but more importantly, coming up there with some solutions as well. You know, identifying problems is something all of us can do, and we do quite regularly. Having somebody contribute or make some suggestions, the geographical,
divisions. I'm sure these are things we would have to look at in depth. But just coming up and, finger pointing, bringing some options.
Thanks, Bill.
Very
It's
much
always been
appreciate
the, don't just give me problems, give me solutions. And there are solutions, and it's
we
a
can
great,
look at it.
it's a great thing the council could start doing, reaching out to other communities and taking it all to heart. Thank you.
Thank you again. Next is Tony Caruso. Is that correct?
These are the sheets. I think he might have signed up incorrectly for public hearing.
Okay, all right, we'll move that along then. Then we have Olivia Beck. Same thing? Okay. All right, no public comments. That ends that. Do we have any council comments at this time?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a couple of quick comments. First, thank you, Mr. Lehman, for your comments as well. I touched on that a little bit with the Planning Commission recently discussing, some changes that could be made, whether it was budget or composition or things like that. But I discussed in the last committee's meeting, that we still had some work to do. We may have resolved part of an issue, but we still have some work to do as far as correcting problems in the town, and suggested a committee, and I would just like to remake that suggestion that we form some sort of a committee or a group or an individual to follow up on some of the other things that we need to correct from recent events. And to Mr. Lehman's points, which I think are great points, I would add the point that I had in my notes for that discussion as we look at our town staff and we look at our planning commission, but as we look at ourselves as well and look around. And I think those were some great suggestions that you had, but I would ask the question is, what are the barriers that are preventing that diverse population from getting on our town council? And I would say you presented a number of them. I would say something that I learned from this is that I knew you didn't make money doing it, but you lose money doing it because you're spending your time doing this instead of doing something else. So I think our compensation structure, if you look at around the state, is probably doesn't support, a young working mother perhaps coming to do this work for $300 a month and taking 10 or 20 hours a week off the schedule that could be working. So there's a number of things to look at, our hours, as you touched on, the hours for the meetings. But I would implore us as well, if the upcoming election, just over a year away, what can we do? We have the power to do things for our council, for our planning commission. They are also $60 a meeting, I believe, for the planning commission. So when you think about that, the package last month was over 1,400 pages. So $60 to go through that 1,400 page packet. So if we wonder why we have, a shortage of individuals running for office or putting their talent forms into the talent bank, there's a whole host of reasons, and I would encourage the mayor to appoint this committee to seek some modernization efforts as it relates to our town staff. As I discussed in the committee's meeting, Mr. Stallings and I had a discussion, and I think that we have some personnel in the town that are wearing too many hats, and that may be the result of, that may be the cause of some of the issues that we've had as of late. We don't have a person dedicated to contracts. We don't have a person dedicated to safety. Those are big responsibilities, roles and responsibilities in our town that need an individual that's their primary duty, or it does not take away from their primary duty to do a collateral duty. So I think thank you for leading with that, Mr. Lehman, because we need to do that analysis across the board for our town. I think this is a good time when we have identified an issue that needs a resolution, and we resolve part of it tonight, it seems. But we still have some things to solve. So I will say, recommend a committee or some sort of action group to do some action. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cutler.
If I may,
Yes, please.
with a little help from council, going back to the salary aspect of what you were discussing, I think General Assembly passed a measure either last year or year before that significantly increased the potential, earning potential for board supervisors, council members, depending on population and things like that. There's also a trigger point where if you're going to vote on that, it has to be, help me out, Chris, it has to be passed, but it will not go into effect until the next election occurs. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would have to read the law and double check, but I think
And that's and to my point is we're getting really close to the next election. And I don't know if it's the year involved or whatever, but there are some legal ramifications involved in setting salaries and when they become effective and things like that. And if it please council, it may be a good idea for Mr. McKenzie to look in that, to give us a report on two things specifically. Number one, the timing aspect of it, and number two, the salary scale that's available for a population of, we are 9,500, under 10,000. I think it's under 10,000. He's probably can pull it up right now, but anyway.
I don't, I'm not on the internet.
But but really, I think it's something that maybe the council for us could at least get us that, because there are some legal ramifications assigned to that. I've thought about the same thing. I mean, and one can argue that you're doing this as a public service, and it is true, it is, but if you've got somebody that really wants to contribute that is not in a financial position to do two things, it would mean a lot. I applaud you for bringing that up, because it really is, it's not a whole lot of money when you start dealing with diesel fuel and mileage and copy paper and printer stuff and just the little odds and ends like that, you know, that cost money. So if Mr. Mayor, if you would allow Mr. McKenzie to do that and give us a report, at least on the salary aspect of it, and whatever Mr. Cutler, Councilman Cutler wanted us, I'm not getting into what he's asked.
I know this had been discussed down at the county, and I think Dick Grice had talked about it, and I think he was correct by saying that they didn't benefit from the raises as the next people to come in, right. And I might be wrong about that, but
you have to have an election cycle.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. And then the other thing, this has been talked about amongst council for a long time. John Graham, I guess you remember him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He talked about it in depth about trying to attract different people on council and how to do that. So
I think the last one that actually passed the motion was Andrew Gregory,
yes.
as he was departing. So it's been that long ago.
That's correct.
That was like 2012 or 13 or something. I mean,
It's been a while, yeah.
But anyway, thank you, sir.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I don't want to get caught up in the money part of it, though. I think that the bigger piece, and that's not necessarily the decision to make tonight, but I recommend that we get it on the agenda for committees this month and discuss the formation of a committee to address a number of things, our recent accounting issue, an assessment of the council following the attorney's report, similar assessment for the planning commission. You know, we could do those things, as well as the things that I discussed in the committee's meeting, one-time purchases that we can do for software and modernizations, possibly another employee. And I had talked to Mr. Stallings about it, and I know he was working on it, and I think I got too wound up about it at the committee's meeting, and I forgot to give him an opportunity to speak on it. But I do think the best thing, rather than if you'd like to speak on it now, but we put on the committee's meeting next week. I think we had a wage study in the past. We have a few resources that they can gather that we could use for that discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Cullen. Any other comments from council? Hearing none, we'll move to the consent agenda items, and the first one is Darren Cutler.
All right, let me fire my thing back up here. So the first item on the consent agenda item is to adopt an ordinance to amend the Town Code, Chapter 82 on utilities. This is not a increase. This is a modernization and getting, basically just updating our water and sewer code ordinance, but no changes in fee.
Thank you. Now we have invoices over 20,000. Chairman Brooks.
Yes, sir. We have two invoices that need council authorization. The first one to Blair Brothers for $120,240 for street pavings in Cypress Creek and one other, and patchwork. And then the other one is our yearly tourism true-up for $304,504.59.
Next, we have items C, D, and E. And that goes to public buildings and welfare. Ms. Butler.
Alphabet C is adopt an ordinance to amend town code to repeal section 70-223 registration fees for the use of Windsor Castle Dog Park. In other words, we are doing away with the fees at the dog park. D is adopt an ordinance to amend town code section 61-1 regarding yard sale permits. And it looks like we are limiting yard sales by the owners to 2 yard sales a month. And you can go in and read the other changes of that particular ordinance. D, registration fees, yard sale. Motion to approve the proposed fee schedule for the Community Development and Planning Department. I think that the Community Development Department went in and updated some of our fees in that particular area.
We'll move to the approval of the town summary minutes for September the 2nd.
I think that's got to be second. That has to be separate, I think, Mr. Mayor.
This is still under the consent.
You can.
Can you do it? Okay, my fault.
From September the 2nd and September the 12th. Michael, can you comment on that? I know you got it in.
The minutes are in there. They've been reviewed by staff, and we found no corrections that needed to be made. So
Okay,
recommend adoption is presented, but you can adopt them under consent agenda.
Okay, we, on the consent agenda items, need a motion to have them approved.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve items number 9, A through F under the consent agenda.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the question.
Councilwoman Butler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bridgemeyer?
Yes.
Councilman Brooks?
Yes.
Councilman Cutler?
Yes.
Councilman Bowman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
This time we move into the action sections. We have a public hearing. Text amendment, Ms. Clary.
Yes, thank you. This is the proposed text amendment to Article 9C2E. This would remove the requirement for tree canopies on platted lots. This would be in accordance with Virginia Code 15.2-961. The language in our zoning ordinance will now mirror the language provided in state code. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to open the public hearing. Anyone like to speak on this item? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Call for the question. Need a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve item number 10A, text amendment zoning ordinance, Article 9.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the question.
Councilman Bowman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Butler?
Yes.
Councilman Cutler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Biebermeyer?
Yes.
Councilman Brooks?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Now we move to another public hearing. This is Tammy Clary, zoning ordinance.
Yes, thank you. This is a text amendment to Article 3F, multifamily residential, and 3E, AR attached residential. This would remove the requirement for recreational vehicle parking in section I2B and instead bring that recreational parking as a special use in section C24, and then also provide for public and private travelways in section I3. These are both similar changes in both the MFR and the AR. Per Planning Commission's recommendation, the requirement for contiguous open space still remains. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'd like to open the public hearing on this text amendment and zoning ordinance. Does anyone like to speak about this matter? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. I do have a motion to.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to the text amendment for the zoning ordinance. Excuse me. Zoning ordinance Articles 3, E, and F.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the question.
Vice Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Councilman Cutler,
Yes.
Councilman Bowman,
Yes.
Councilman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Beebermeyer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Butler,
Yes.
Mayor Smith.
Aye. This time we have another public hearing on the text amendment of site plan requirements. Ms. Clary.
Yes, thank you. This is a proposed text amendment to Article 11, bringing our site plan requirements in line with Virginia Code, which recently replaced the Planning Commission with the designated agent as the reviewer of site plans. Virginia Code also does not allow for preliminary site plan pre-conferences. We did clear up the language for minor and major site plans and included a requirement for a preliminary plat if it was more than 50 lots, also in line with Virginia Code. We updated the sewer systems with the new language from our adopted CBPA ordinance and updated the review timelines also to mirror Virginia Code. The appeals process was clarified to the BZA, not the Planning Commission. These revisions do align the site plan requirements with current modern zoning practices. This was recommended to Town Council with a 4-2 vote with the following additions. The J3B would not be limited to only the agencies on the list, and the list would also include police, county, schools, museum, and other utilities. Remodeling commercial structures may qualify as a minor site plan if, in the opinion of the zoning administrator, it is in conformance with the intent of this article. We did assure Planning Commission that we are still continuing to work on updating the language for our major and minor site plans. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clary. This time I'll open the public hearing. Does anyone like to speak on this matter of the site plan requirements? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion for the site plan requirements for the text amendment.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve 10 Charlie text amendment site plan requirements, Smithfield zoning ordinance, Article 11.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the question.
Councilman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Butler,
Yes.
Councilwoman Beebermeyer,
Yes.
Councilman Cutler,
Yes.
Councilman Bowman,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Smith.
Aye. This time we have another public hearing. Ms. Clary.
Yes, thank you. This is a proposed text amendment to our subdivision ordinance, bringing in our town design standards. It would be to Article 2, bringing in our general regulations for subdivision requirements in line with Virginia Code, again with replacing the Planning Commission with the designated agent as the reviewer of site plans. We updated Article 3 to include HRPDC and VDOT regulations. Article 4 was updated to the designated agent and included additional authorities for regulations. Article 5 was updated to the designated agent and removed the requirement for a planning conference. We updated review times and numbers of copies required. Article 6 requires Town Council to approve private streets, and Article 7 clarifies our bonding requirements. Article 8 was repealed as it is just repeated in Article 11 of the zoning ordinance. We updated our checklist for preliminary plats, public improvement plans, and final plats. And then we incorporated our design standards into our subdivision ordinance, and instead of being Article 13, it is Article 8. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Clary. I'd like to open a public hearing on the text amendment. for Smithfield subdivision ordinance. I'll entertain a motion.
Gonna close the hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, for the site plan requirements. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead on that.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Call for the question?
Councilwoman Biebermeyer,
Yes.
Councilman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Bowman,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Councilwoman Butler,
Yes.
Councilman Cutler,
Yes.
Mayor Smith.
Aye. Is that concluding all of the tax rate? New business. At this time, I'd like to discuss new business, if any needs to be brought forth. Hearing none, move to old business. We have a special use permit. Ms. Butler?
They really should be Tammy.
Okay. Tammy can elaborate on this, I feel sure. She does a great job.
Thank you, sir. The applicant is seeking approval to rent 139 Sykes Court, which is an existing single-family residential dwelling, as a short-term rental property. According to our zoning ordinance, short-term rentals as principal uses are permissible by special use permit only. There are no changes to the property that are proposed in order to accommodate this short-term rental. There are 4 other SUPs located in town. That would be 111 Institute Street, 205 Chalmers Row, 233 South Mason, and 328 Main Street. This application does provide additional accommodations in the historic district. It is not a by right use and does require an SUP. This application was favorably recommended at the June Planning Commission meeting, and the applicant is present. Thank you.
Would the applicant like to say anything on this matter?
So I have been an Airbnb host for 6 years, and in that time, I've welcomed hundreds of guests into my homes without any issue. My guests are carefully vetted. We maintain high standards to ensure that they treat my home and their surrounding community with respect. We have achieved superhost status with Airbnb, which is only awarded to hosts who meet strict criteria and maintain strong guest ratings. Short-term rentals like mine do more than offer a place to stay. They support local businesses, restaurants, shops, and attractions. According to AirDNA and several independent studies, short-term rentals contribute millions of dollars annually to small town economies through increased tourism spending. Visitors staying in short-term rentals tend to stay longer and spend more money than hotel guests. In fact, if you stay at any of my rentals, you'll find books detailing all the shops, restaurants that are within walking distance, as well as information on festivals, farmers markets, etc. In the event that any of my homes are booked and I can't provide a stay, I always give information for the inn, the station, and other local businesses so that we can keep those folks here in our community. Responsible short-term rentals have helped preserve older homes, increase tax revenue, and even reduce blight. I'm committed to being part of that positive impact. I fully support reasonable regulations that ensure safety, accountability, and neighborhood integrity. My goal is to operate in a way that benefits both my guests and our community. I did receive, after the June meeting, I got several emails, calls, and texts from people within the community who were in support of the Airbnb. One who is a resident on Chalmers Row, which is where my other Airbnb has been for the last 4 years. She just stated that when she moved to that street 2 years ago, My Pigs in a Blanket was the best maintained house in the neighborhood. The renters have either completely kept to themselves or have been friendly and respectful. The property is maintained meticulously and it adds to our community. It is untrue that short-term rentals result in less investment in the community. The properties in this town that are abandoned and blighted are owners who don't maintain their properties, not short-term rental landlords. The economic incentives are for the owners of the short-term rentals to invest in a place where people want to stay. They are competing for customers. They are transparently reviewed in the apps, and as a result, they have property that is well-maintained and well-run. Short-term renters are not more disruptive or dangerous. They're reviewed in the apps, and the house owner can turn them down if they have a history of bad reviews. Smithfield is not a party town where folks are coming for spring break or to go on all-night benders. Most everything shuts down at 7. People that are coming here to stay are visiting friends or family or staying between permanent housing. They are all looking to spend time and money in a small, charming town. Short-term rentals fill an economic need without requiring any public investment in infrastructure. It is the epitome of managed growth. Small in scale, keeps the character of the neighborhood, and doesn't add traffic. This is exactly the kind of initiative this body should support. And if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
Just for the record, state your name and address.
Oh, sorry. Anna Boyer, 11183 Burroughs Bay Road.
Thank you.
One question, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor. Thanks for being here today. The only question I've got, well, number one, pigs in a blanket. I guess that's not really descriptive of what's going on. But anyway, you said you had hundreds of folks come and go or whatever.
Yes, sir.
You getting any complaints from your neighbors about parking, about noise, about anything in there? And I know that you said that you hadn't had any problems, but I just want to make sure that I understand specifically.
Sure. So I would say over the 4 years that I've had the house on Chalmers, we've had maybe 2 people complain about a truck being too far out into the driveway.
Okay.
That was an easy phone call. The people moved up. And I've had one noise complaint where a gentleman was sitting on the front porch at 8:30 at night, which I didn't feel was an excessive time to be out. And he was just on the phone because I have cameras. And I went on the camera and he was just talking to somebody. But I did reach out and ask him to move, and he went to the back.
Okay.
At Sykes, I have had, at the last meeting, a neighbor was not happy about parking on the street. So we went in and adjusted our check-in rules to make sure that it specifically mentioned utilizing the full driveway, because you can fit numerous cars in the driveway, and to try to just park only in front of the house. Public street parking is allowed on that street, but we specifically asked them to just make sure that they, yes, sir.
Okay. Do you think that you've satisfied the concern of the
I do. And I tried to go reach out to the person who came last time to voice her concerns.
That's what I was specifically thinking.
Yeah, I haven't been able to catch her at home.
Okay.
So.
But she hasn't been banging on your door or calling you or anything or nothing like that?
No, she's
okay.
not.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other questions? Thank you for coming up.
Yes, sir.
Mayor?
Yes.
We've been given quite a bit of information and data from town staff regarding other localities on short-term rental policies, and I appreciate them taking the time to do that. In fact, it's included in our package. However, I don't want to go into detail of our current short-term rental rules right now, but I do believe we need to revisit them. They were made by a previous town council many years ago. Obviously, there was some very good thought-out information that was discussed at that point, and that's where those rules came from. The popularity of short-term rentals, whether it's Airbnb, Vrbo, there's a million of them out there now. Those are the 2 most commonly known are out there, and it really is an increasing issue for localities. But again, I'm not prepared really to sit here and try to work out what we should be doing. I think that's all of our job if we are interested in looking at that and getting a handle on it. So with all that said, I'd like to make a motion to deny this short-term rental application due to the neighbors' concerns regarding the parking congestion. The fact that she already has 104 nights that she's able to do that. She's already permitted for that, and just the general disruption of community character that Airbnbs give. So with that, make a motion to deny it.
We have a motion to deny. Do we have a second?
I second that.
We have a second. Any other further discussion? Call for the question.
Councilman Brooks?
Yes.
Councilman Cutler?
Yes.
Councilman Bowman,
No.
Councilwoman Beavermeyer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Butler,
No.
Vice Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor Smith.
Yes. Now we have a conditional zoning, rezoning and special use permits with sheets. Ms. Butler? You'll get Tammy to help you with this one too.
Yes, thank you. The applicant is seeking a conditional rezoning to highway retail commercial. This will facilitate the construction of a convenience store with the fueling islands with 2, potentially 3 additional retail users. These uses are also in line with the future land use map, as the current designation is corridor mixed use, which provides primary commercial uses. The staff report also outlines the description of the sheets. The first special use permit is for a drive-through facility at the convenience store. This would be for made-to-order food or other items from the store, excluding alcohol. The second special use permit is a waiver of parking and loading. This is so they can exceed the maximum number of parking spaces allowed by 7 spaces. They would provide up to 44 spaces instead of the maximum of 37 spaces. The third special use permit is for the use of a service station, approximately 5,500 square foot oil express facility. The applicants have included an updated conceptual plan in general conformance with the originally submitted plan for potentially 3 users in addition to the sheets. As proffered, any additional users would need to be reviewed and approved by the Planning Commission. This application was favorably recommended to Town Council in the July Planning Commission meeting, and the applicants have provided acceptable to VDOT through their conceptual plan and their proffered improvements. Thank you.
I know the applicants are here. Would y'all like to come up and comment about that, please?
I'll be brief. I know it's late. Randy Royal with Kimley Horn Associates. 2 addresses, 4525 Main Street in Virginia Beach and 421 Fable Street in Raleigh. And I'm going to be looking for that truck, and I will call you or if my neighbors say, what's going on here, come to Smithfield. So, great idea. But Raleigh's a great place. I want to thank Ms. Clary for working with us. We've worked through a lot of things. We believe we've got a good plan here, bringing sheets and Take 5 oil change and another user that we're working on right now, which will go back to the Planning Commission as we promised to do. But we believe it'll be a great addition to the community. I've got sheets people back here. I've got a representative from the developer, and of course I can answer any questions you have. So hope you'll see fit to approve it tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak on the matter? What's the will of council?
Mr. Mayor, I have just a discussion point, real briefly, if I may. And I just mentioned it because I can't remember. We had a Kroger discussion and we had a Sheets discussion. And so Sheets came through the Planning Commission. And I don't know if I think I discussed this with y'all, but a couple issues that we worked through, just to reiterate, is a lot of our residents have boats and large trailers with farm equipment, so getting through is important, so spacing of the... But a lot of those boats, people want to put non-ethanol fuel in it. I don't know if I discussed that with y'all or not, but your competitor is down the street. And then finally, a citizen reached out to me this week and asked about EV chargers there. I drive an EV, but I wouldn't need to use it because I charge at home. But I did see, I spoke with a gentleman who was parked at our only destination charger in town, worked at the power plant, and was parked at that destination charger charging, so he'd get to the power plant. And then a citizen reached out to me and said, hey, can we get one of these gas stations that's coming in to put in some EV chargers? So, you know, the closest competition for that is Richmond and 30 minutes away in Hampton. So not so much, well, our residents I'm sure would use it, but it allows people to drive their EVs to our town and contribute to our tourism marketing, and one of these facilities needs to have it. Would be great if they had it.
Good evening, Council. Todd Casado, Senior Real Estate Market Manager with Sheets Incorporated. Thanks for having us. Let me run through each of those. So ethanol-free we will have as an offering. we are asking for the additional parking spots here. We also have some, what we always consider in our design, just some very long curb lines that people usually pull in trailers kind of make their own parking. So we make sure we have curb lines to allow that. It's not striped or anything, but we have some spaces where that can be possible. And then our EV situation, we don't have it on our plans right now. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the NEVI funding, National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure. So that's kind of changed a little bit with the administration change, how much of those funds are available and what that project looks like. We partner with Tesla, EVgo America, EVgo, Electrify America, and Iona. So there are 4 different EV companies that offer superchargers. So when we have a site like this, once we get into design, so right now we're still very early, like we don't really dig in until we get these approvals to make sure we can build the store. But once our engineers and start getting into designing the site and submitting plans, our energy markets team will share this with those EV vendors and say, hey, we have this site coming in Smithfield. Is anybody interested? And we usually have a space, which we would have identified. So we do have a space identified here where we'll future-proof when we go and build. So we'll have conduit and a space for the generator already planned out. But usually what happens is we sublease that space out to one of those users and they have their offering there. So something we like to offer, but it requires one of those users to see the fit.
Thank you.
Did we get an answer on the ethanol-free gas?
Yes, sir.
It will be great. Like it.
Any further discussions? Hearing none, what is the will of council?
I'll make a motion to approve conditional rezoning and special use permits for Sheets as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second, sir.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the question.
Councilman Brooks?
Yes.
Councilman Cutler?
Yes.
Councilman Bowman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilwoman Beavermeyer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Butler?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
At this time, under old business, I was asked by the Riddick and Pope law firm to read Mr. Riddick's resignation for the public record. And I'd like to read that now. Dear Mayor Smith and members of Town Council, it's perfectly clear to me after Tuesday's council meeting that I can no longer represent Smithfield as its town attorney. The vitriol that spilled forth made me realize that we cannot go on any further. Further, I will not and cannot represent a body that includes as a member a person who is unwilling to listen to and heed my legal advice about matters that subject the town to potentially great liability. I have served as a town attorney for more than 32 years. I have been honored to do so. I have had the great pleasure of working with dozens of truly fine public servants who wanted nothing more than to see Smithfield grow, thrive, and prosper. I have said, and I truly believe, that I have been lucky to represent the town during its golden age. One needs only to look around town to see what is an incredible place that Smithfield has become. The many town councils before you had great vision and a determination to make Smithfield better. I take no credit for their decision making, but someone had to make their visions a reality, and I was fortunate to be a part of these efforts. The town has been well served by its staff. They work hard to make things happen, and I have enjoyed working with them to get things done. I have had the pleasure of working with 4 different town managers and countless employees and found them to be dedicated and cheerful in their work. The current town manager is as good as they come, and you are lucky to have him. All of them could work somewhere else for more money, but they choose to work here. The list of accomplishments of the town during my tenure is long. The Main Street and Church Street projects, the Smithfield Center, Windsor Castle Park, the Ludo YMCA, the Ludo Sports Complex, 2 successful annexations, renewed water withdrawal permits, the HRSD Force Main, the Pinewood Heights acquisition relocation project, the Jersey Park community improvements, the Rising Star community rehabilitation, acquisition of the VW Joyner property on Main Street, acquisition of the current police department and town manager's office, construction of the reverse osmosis plant, the Smithfield Foods office complex development on the wharf, and many more which you would have no reason to know about. I ride around town and feel a great sense of pride that I helped to make all these things become a reality. On top of all that, I am very proud that in my 32 years of representation, the town has never been successfully sued for any serious claims. I believe I have offered sound legal advice in a fair price. I have never been about the money for me. Smithfield is my home, and I had a vested interest in making it a nicer place to live. The current issue of my compensation has, in my view, been blown completely out of proportion. It is abundantly clear that the town has no records whatsoever pertaining to my employment, which began in 1993. I point out that I am not the keeper of the town's records, and I find it hard to believe that over these many years, there is no file devoted to my employment. Since 1993, I was regularly evaluated and my compensation was adjusted accordingly. The statute that is now being used to criticize me had not been adopted in 1993, and I had no reason to cause to review it. I was hired under the same compensation terms as the previous town attorney, Rodham T. Delp, Jr., who had been appointed as a circuit court judge. I am reminded last Friday that due to an audit and an IRS inquiry, my compensation package was revised to make me a W-2 employee and my firm a 1099 vendor. I do not recall any of the reasonings behind that change 17 years ago, but I did not object to it. Over the years, my compensation has adjusted at the time of my evaluations in the same manner that the town managers receives adjustments to their pay. Again, there is no written documentation of any of it other than the 2008 fee agreement and copies of 3 evaluations that I provided. Nevertheless, during the entire tenure of my employment, I prepared and submitted itemized billing statements monthly. All of my bills were reviewed and approved, and I was paid by checks issued by the town. I have never received 1 penny from the town for anything but work that was done in the direction of the council or town manager. The notion that I overcharged the town since 2008 is absurd, and your decision to audit my billings since then is a waste of town resources. If anything, I have been undercompensated, as there is written proof on my 2002 evaluation form that my monthly retainer was to be increased to $1,000 per month. Please remember that I did not become a W-2 employee until 2008. By my calculations, the town has underpaid me by a sum of more than $130,000, but that seems to be conveniently lost in the discussion. Further, you cannot responsibly believe that I had not been approved for rate increases since 2008. The most disgusting thing to me about this whole issue is the way it has been handled. I do not object that anyone raise the issue. It is a legitimate concern and one that should be addressed. I did not object to outside legal counsel being involved. Frankly, Ms. Alejandro confirmed anything that I would say. There was no intent by me to deceive or defraud the town, and that matter was obviously caused by a lack of a formal process and misunderstanding and miscommunications. I agree with all of her decisions. My strong objection is that I was not afforded the basic courtesies of being informed about the allegation at hand and given an opportunity to address them with the organization just as other employee would have had the opportunity to do. To the contrary, I was first made aware that there was a concern about my conversation by an email from Steve Stewart with the Smithfield Times, which I received on Monday morning of August the 18th. He advised me that he wanted my comments before midday for his article that afternoon concerning my performance review. I responded as best I could, but in hindsight, I should not have. My experience is that nothing good ever comes from interactions with him, and he quickly proved me right. I was vilified and quickly made to look guilty upon proven innocent. At that point, I had been denied any semblance of due process for my employer. In his editorial, Mr. Stewart stated that it is one thing for Riddick to clam up when the Times asks him questions. He doesn't like us anyway. Actually, I do not know Mr. Stewart well, and whether I like him or not is irrelevant. Mostly, I do not respect the way, in my view, that he chooses to use the paper to make news rather than simply reporting it. I do not understand someone's motivations to foment hate and discontent on the pages of a local paper. Moreover, I do not understand why it is so important to the Smithfield Times that I no longer serve as town attorney. I know for a fact that with this most recent effort, this is at least the third time that an editor or former editor of the Smithfield Times has tried to get rid of me. I suggest that the question you should ask yourselves is why. He further took me to task for not giving my bosses, you, the town council, a clear explanation. I did not owe the newspaper editor any explanation, and I chose not to further communicate with him. I did owe the town council an explanation and was given the opportunity on Friday, August the 29th. If you recall, I immediately accepted responsibility for the billing error and often to make it right. I refused to assign my blame to anyone else, but I continued to maintain that my billings were fair, reasonable, and authorized. Had I been given the opportunity sooner, this would have been resolved, that we could have moved on, but that would not serve what appears to me to be real purpose behind all of this. It is my view that the entire matter has been used by one council member in cooperation with the editor of the Smithfield Times as a conduit to beat me. They have taken every opportunity to exploit the situation so as to embarrass me, the town manager, and ultimately the town council. Week after week, I have been criticized while Mr. Cutler has been lauded for his devotion of transparency. Unfortunately, the concept of transparency seems to have been redefined to mean that Mr. Cutler can do as he wishes, no matter what the consequences may be to the town and others, as long as he shares everything for publication in the local newspaper. I remind you all that he has admitted as much in all of us to recent conversations concerning the Grange project that remains confidential. He stated that he had discussed the matter first with Steve Stewart and two other trusted citizens before sharing the information with the other council members and staff. He had the audacity Tuesday night to talk about a loss of trust in his criticism of me when he routinely breaches his implied obligation to trust to you all. He told me directly that he had nothing to do with providing information to the editor of the paper when I understood that he very reluctantly admitted otherwise to you. It is not lost on anyone that they are immediate next-door neighbors. And all of this being said, I find the most disgusting thing that he said to me was in our conversation after the meeting last Friday. Mr. Cutler told me that when he looks at me, all he sees is an attorney, not a human being. That view is one that I will never understand, but was perhaps better explained by his comments Tuesday night when he talked about his experience in the Navy. Mr. Cutler needs to quickly learn that the town of Smithfield is not the Navy, and he is not a commanding officer. His position as a council member does not entitle him to give orders to anyone, and his actions and words directly affect the town and its employees. Do not think that his actions are not seen by town staff as a matter of great concern. You should be very concerned too. After all, if he can do this to me, what could he do to them? I believe that I have served the town well and faithfully. I have 32 years of institutional knowledge that is very valuable and frankly irreplaceable. I had hoped to find a way to transition out of this position and share it with a successor, but the current circumstances make this impossible. I do not believe that I deserve the treatment that I have received. I have practiced law for 42 years, all of them here in Smithfield, and I have a spotless record. My character and integrity have never been challenged until now, and I believe I have been the target of a coordinated effort to tarnish my reputation in the community. For those of you who voted to hire me again last Friday, I thank you very much, and I appreciate your show of support. It means a lot to me. Nevertheless, I do not think it is in the best interest of the town or me that I continue as your town attorney. I am not willing to be a whipping boy week after week and month after month. I have done nothing that could not have been resolved with a phone call and a 30-minute face-to-face meeting with the mayor, town manager, and finance committee chair. If I am guilty of anything, it is that I paid more attention to the business of the town of Smithfield than I did to my business with the town of Smithfield. For all the reasons set forth herein, I hereby tender my resignation as a town attorney for Smithfield effective immediately. I wish for nothing but the best for this town of Smithfield, for it is my home and I love it dearly. Signed, William H. Reddick III. Any other old business to come before council? Hearing none, we'll move to additional discussion. Hearing none, meeting adjourned.